All right, welcome. For decades, getting your business found online meant one thing, right? Ranking on Google. But all of that is changing and it's changing fast. Today, we're going to look at how AI is completely rewriting the rulebook for customer discovery. So let's just think about this for a second. For years, the whole game was about search rankings. But what happens when your customer doesn't even search anymore? What if they just ask their AI assistant, hey, who should I buy from? This isn't some far off future stuff. It is happening right now. And that really gets to the heart of what we're talking about today, the future of growing your business. It isn't about being found in some list of 10 blue links. Nope. It's about being directly recommended by a large language model or an LLM. Now, let's be super clear. This is not a quick fix. It's not like that instant sugar rush you get from an online ad that just vanishes the second you stop paying. This is a long-term play. It's about fundamentally adapting your business for the age of AI and building an advantage that actually lasts. So, how do we actually make this shift? Well, it starts with understanding a brand new acronym. We're all moving from SEO, search engine optimization, to AEO. That's Answer Engine Optimization. It's a whole new ballgame. And this really breaks it all down. With SEO, it was all about jamming in keywords and getting links, just trying to claw your way up a ranked list. But with AEO, it's about conversation and context. The goal isn't to rank, it's to become the trusted, definitive answer that an AI feels confident recommending to a user. And this quote just hits the nail on the head. You can't use old tricks for a new technology. These AI models, they learn from the natural back and forth of human language. So if you want them to understand you and, value what you have to say, your content has to speak their language. Okay, so if conversation is the way in, how do you make sure your business is the one the AI wants to talk about? Well, the answer lies in a concept called topical authority. Let's dive into what that actually means. Topical authority is really all about becoming the undisputed expert in your space. It's about creating so much high-quality, comprehensive, and trusted information that for an AI trying to find the truth, your business is the truth on that subject. And when you pull that off, something kind of magical happens. When a person asks a question about your industry, the AI doesn't just list you, it cites you. It literally uses your information to build its answer and then recommends you as the expert. You become the source code for the answer. Okay, that all sounds great in theory, but how do you actually do it? How do you get started? Luckily, there's a really practical, step-by-step framework for building the kind of content that these AI answer engines absolutely love. And we're not just pulling this out of thin air. These insights come from the marketing giant HubSpot. They've been in the trenches figuring out what really works in this new AEO world. So let's work through their 7-step blueprint. So here they are, 7 best practices to get your content ready for AI. We're going to tackle these in 2 parts. First, we'll look at the 4 steps for structuring your content, and then we'll cover the 3 steps for making that content really pop. Let's start with structure. The first 4 steps are all about how you organize the page. First up, answer the question right away. Put it in the first sentence. No long, fluffy intros. Then you expand on it with more context to show you really know your stuff. Third, and this is so important, add structure. LLMs are kind of like lazy readers. They scan for headlines, lists, and tables. And finally, toss in an FAQ section. This perfectly mimics that conversational question and answer format that AIs are built on. Okay, next up, let's talk about making your content unique. You've got to provide original insights, some data, research, or quote that nobody else has. Then you have to connect that great info back to how your product is the perfect solution. And finally, schema markup. You can think of it like a hidden cheat sheet just for the AI. It's some simple code you add to your page that tells the AI exactly what your content is about, which makes its job a whole lot easier. So, does this stuff actually work in the real world? Oh yeah. Let's look at a case study that really proves the power of this approach. And it all has to do with a company that sells luxury carpets. So a potential customer, someone ready to buy, goes to ChatGPT and asks this super specific, high-intent question. This is exactly the kind of query that turns into a sale. So what did the AI tell them? Bam! Right there, number 1. Not just a mention buried in a list, but the top recommendation. Think about that. No ads, no bidding for keywords, just a direct, trusted suggestion from the most popular AI in the world. This is AEO in action, right here. So the million-dollar question is, how? How did they pull that off?
What was the secret sauce that put them at the very top of that list? Well, the answer isn't on their main website. It's somewhere else entirely.
See, when ChatGPT gave its answer, it also listed its sources. And those sources pointed to this other educational website they had built, one that was just packed with hundreds of conversational questions and answers all about carpets. This was their topical authority hub. And get this, it wasn't just a casual mention. In that single answer, the AI cited their topical authority site more than 10 times. It basically used their content to construct its entire response, which is like the ultimate validation that they are the truth on carpets in that area. So the big lesson here is just so powerful. They didn't just optimize a single page. They owned the entire conversation around their topic. By becoming the most helpful, most complete resource out there, they made it impossible for the AI to ignore them. They became the expert. So that leaves us with one final thought to chew on. As AI becomes this new front door for customers, you really have to ask yourself, are you the one telling your business's story? Are you actively shaping that conversation? Or are you just letting someone else, or maybe even worse, no one at all, tell it for you?